Hi everybody, I'm Carl and welcome to Knack 3D Designs. In today's installment we're going to build our chassis wiring harness. So let's get started. Alright, so next step we're going to go ahead and take the stepper motor bracket and everything back off here, and we're going to go ahead and wire up our other half of our stop switch connector, and we're going to go ahead and wire up the stepper motor. You'll also need the original cable that came with the stepper motor, or better skills than me at crimping on the pins for these connectors, and you could re-crimp pins and actually put the connector on and hook it right up. Every time I try to do these pins, I fail miserably. Don't know why, but I do. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the original cable that came with the stepper motor. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off right here for now, just so I can get the piece that just fell on the floor. There's our piece that plugs in right here on the stepper motor. The rest of this, really for me, is trash. So we know we're going to bring this wire out and we're going to connect it here. Keep a nice tight simple loop. Should avoid everything. That looks pretty clean. I want this to come down, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this wire kind of right in the middle of the distance. Do the same thing for these. My little trash can here. Okay, so we got those wires established. We can unplug this. And it's hard for you guys to see it, but the other end of our connector is right up under here. We'll go ahead and connect the other end on here. And we're going to loop it back pretty tight. So I'm going to keep it short. An inch on the end of the connector there. And I'm just going to trim this back pretty close as I can to the extrusion once I remove this. Now I put the one screw in here to hold it in place for the moment. Pop that off. Set it aside. And we know this comes all the way back here. Oh, might want to take the connector off of here though. So I'm thinking I'm going to cut this about right here. Guess that takes care of that one. And I'm going to go ahead and put some wire wrap around that, because we still need to protect all the wires from getting cut by this before they get wiggled around too much. So I'm going to go ahead and try and shove, a little ways down in there. So then cut it right there. Alright, so that takes care of our stop switch. I'll plug in just like this. Now when you go ahead and split these wires and strip them for our stepper motor. I made myself a little cheat sheet the last time I did this to know what color went to what. And again, I'm going to wrap this up nice and neat. I try to actually fold this so the heat shrink goes, or the cable wrap goes around it better. And let's come all the way up to the top. Alright, so only thing left to do now is put some wire wrap around our display wiring, and then we can go ahead and mount our stepper again. Alright, so I'm going to leave the last little bit because I'm going to need to unravel it a little bit when I go to solder it up. But it's shoved back in there about to here by my estimations. All the rest of these are protected. We can go ahead and mount our stepper, hook it all up, and we're ready to roll and continue wiring at the top. Alright, now we've completed wiring up this stepper and the Y-axis end stop. Alright, so our next step, we're going to go ahead and feed all of our wiring through and mount our rear idler with our extruder and our stepper mounted to it. Before we can do that though, we need to slide on our side brace. Make sure you get the right side. Just slide it down over the extrusion. And just kind of pop it in place. We're going to make sure we've got this all nice and perfect 45 a little later, calibrated everything. For now, that's good enough. If you want, you could go ahead and put a T-nut in and lock this in place, but it's really not going to move. It's pretty well there. Now, on your rear idler bracket, you've got this one small hole that's actually for a metric 5 to go through and bolt to the extrusion. And you got this larger hole that we threaded in an earlier segment. We're going to feed all the wire through that hole there. And this will slide nice and neat on the end like this. Now, all this wiring, I lost it. If you follow my bill of materials, all this wiring is going to feed into a pneumatic coupler. Basically, the parts I found were at Lowe's. They were for plumbing. This is 3/8 PTFE tube. It's for plumbing refrigerators, basically. And you get your two connectors. You'll have one that's a 90-degree on this end. That's quarter NPT to 3/8 pneumatic. And it'll sit right here and run it. And then going down here on your hot end carriage will be a straight quarter NPT to 3/8 pneumatic fitting. and you're going to feed all your wire up through this piece of 3/8 PTFE. Now, when you do it with those, they're not swivel ends, so before you mount this on, you'll want to slide all your wiring through your 90-degree elbow, feed it on here, and then you're going to twist this piece and hold your fitting in place so you can thread your fitting in, so that you don't twist all your wires, and then you'll just slide this on in place. Now, I'm building this for Midnight Giant, and well, he wanted everything black and shiny and beautiful and kind of hot roddy. Man after my own heart, because I love to build cars too. So, we went just a little overboard, and I got high pressure fuel line AN fittings right here, and luckily for me, they're swivel, so I won't have to spin that piece. I'll still be able to crank this piece in after it's all on there. And we even went so far as to buy braided high pressure fuel line to feed all that through. So this is going to be nice and shiny and pretty, and yes, overkill, but it'll look cool. Now, on the 90-degree elbow, what you need to do, and I've already done it with this one, is you just want to take your drill, and I'm realizing that soldering iron is still hot. I'm going to come over here in front of the camera. Your 90-degree elbow, where your 3/8 or your quarter MPT threaded end is, take a drill bit, 3/16 bit, and you want to run it straight in here so that you bring a hole out the back. What we're going to do is we're going to feed out the 4 wires that run our stepper motor for our extruder through this, and then all the rest of these are going to go turn and bend up the top here. Now that I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and start threading this into here, and it's not going to go real easy because right now I need to go ahead and put the T-nuts and the screws in this piece to hold it in place. We're going to do that real quick. You know, I did make one error in telling you guys to go ahead and install your stepper on here. Unfortunately, there is one more screw that goes up underneath it. That's in place. Now this is a little sturdier. You can go ahead and start threading this in. Please stand by for station identification and me finding the right size wrench. Alright, so the search for the wrench. Adjustable will do. I've gone ahead and put some tape on the nut here because, well, it's black anodized. I don't want to scratch it. Next we gotta go ahead and wire up our stepper. Alright, and what does my handy dandy little cheat sheet tell me I need to wire this up as? Wires I have to work with are blue, green, yellow, and orange. That takes care of that. Now we will need to wire our other stepper up front here. I'm going to wire this one up. Now I have to very carefully feed my sheath back, the wire wrap back, because, well, we put this all on. Alright, so consulting the handy dandy cheat sheet. If my wires are red, brown, black, and white, I can go ahead and wrap that first. Now I can go ahead and take this one screw out, carefully slide this back forward, and put it back in place. And now that one's wired and in place. Only thing left to do is start putting in all the T-nuts and everything we did that we need for support brackets and to mount this into here. Now, one thing I did forget to mention quick bird's eye view here. All the way up top is that one hole there. You need to drop this, screw down in there, and thread it in. Nice thing that's on a swivel, huh? And there's also one right through here, a little harder to get to. Again, you'll use a metric 5 by 16 millimeter bolt. You just gotta kind of thread the needle with it. Now that one's cinched down nice and tight, which means this is pulled down tight. I would recommend loosening up these screws once you tighten this one first and then tighten these down, but I know I have that cinched down pretty tight. So I'm going to move on to installing the rest of these T-nuts. Alright, so that wraps up today's episode. Now remember, if you like what I'm doing here, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for updates. If you'd like to help support the channel, there is the Printed Solid affiliate link, an Amazon wish list, and a PayPal me link all in the description below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.